Assalamu alaikum, my dear viewers. I hope you are all in the best state of health and iman. In today's program, we will be discussing Hazrat Sayyidi Shaykh-ul-Islam's book, Islam and Criminality. I will begin by reading from the blurb to provide you all with a summary of the aspects of criminality this book encompasses. Welfare of the society is in the long run so immensely vital that the incidental and occasional harms accrued to the individual and racial aspects of human instincts while fulfilling the social instincts are overridden and swamped. Thus, for the benefit of society, every other contrary consideration must give way and every other inconsonant conduct must be renounced. This is the unformulated perception of the basic reason that induces the society to place checks and limitations upon the individuals, which is known as law. If the same originates from divine revelation and gets its sanction and validity from Quran and Sunnah, it is known as Islamic law. Therefore, every act which is injurious to the benefits and general welfare of the society becomes prohibited. In the light of this description, it can be easily concluded that dominance and preponderance of self-regarding instinct or racial instinct over the social instinct, or that of the self-regarding and racial conduct over the social one, is an injurious or even disregarding manner, is the basis of crime. It does happen because these instincts of human nature are not completely harmonized, and this lack of consistency is the cause of inclination towards crime. Therefore, this instinctual inconsonance and incompatibility, when increased, prompts the man to be criminal. The book is divided into 5 chapters, namely Western Science of Criminality, Islamic Philosophy of Human Nature, Predetermined Criminality and Human Will, Islamic Injunctions and Western Criminology, and Psychology of the Criminal. The first chapter tackles the Western understanding of criminality, and Hazrat Sayyidi Shaykh-ul-Islam cites a varied number of authorities for a well-rounded understanding of the field of study and allows one to build upon the information that is provided through this book for further reading one can do of their own. So I shall briefly read a little from the chapters to provide you with a better insight on what this book can offer. Western Science of Criminality. The branch of law that studies the social phenomenon of crime, its causes, and the measures which society directs against it is known as criminology. This branch of social study comprises 4 main subjects: science of criminality, criminal psychology, criminal policy, criminal law. The first one appreciates the investigation of the causes of crime in the mental and physical constitution of the delinquent himself or in the social and environmental condition of a given society. The second invites the study of the nature as well as mental and social phenomenon of the commission of crime. The third deals with the appropriate measures of social organization whereby harmful activities may be prevented and the proper treatment to be accorded to those who have caused harm to any individual or society through their transgressive behavior. Whereas the fourth is the detailed and technical instrument of criminal policy. As far as this part is concerned, we have to focus our attention exclusively upon the first 2 subjects, that is, science of criminality and criminal psychology. Hazrat Sayyidi Shaykh-ul-Islam further elaborates on the historic aspects and developments of the science of criminality in the West. In the history of Western law, no systematic study of criminology had been conducted until the 19th century. About the time of the French Revolution, this attempt became more frequent, and the methodical study of social and anthropological facts, which is the core of criminology, was conducted. In the beginning of the 19th century, in France, certain scholars instituted criminal statistics and amplified and developed their methods. They are called the founders of criminology. Among these, first of all, was Adolphe Quetelet. In 1835, he published On Man and the Development of His Social Faculties, an essay on social physics, which is considered the landmark of criminology. One of the great students of systematic criminology was an Italian scholar, Cesare Lombroso, 1836 to 1909, who conducted an extensive study on the causes of criminality and for the first time introduced the theory of born criminal in the history of Western criminal law. His most important book upon this topic is L'Uomo Delinquente. By that time, criminality had become an independent subject of research in the field of criminology. Therefore, various Western criminologists, after their analytical observations, formulated different theories regarding the causes of criminality. Western theories, after a thorough survey, can be primarily classified into 5: positivistic biological theory, post-psychiatric pathological theory, psychological psychoanalytical theory, sociological theory, and ecological theory. Hazur Sayyidi Shaykh-ul-Islam goes on to discuss the positivistic theory, the developments of the Lombrosian view, and post-Lombrosian view developments, which include Goring's view, theory of physical and mental inferiority, Fink and Dugdale's view, theory of heredity and criminal families, Lang's view, theory of twin research, Kretschmer's view, theory of modern crimiноbiology, and Houghton's view, Neo-Lombrosian doctrine. Hazur Sayyidi Shaykh-ul-Islam further elaborates on the psychological origins of criminality in Western thought and the idea of one being intrinsically criminal by nature, an idea which has no grounds in Islamic doctrine. So the second chapter is where Hazur Sayyidi Shaykh-ul-Islam provides us with an introduction on the Islamic philosophy of human nature. I find the opening paragraphs provide an apt overview of what is tackled here. All the theories of criminality propounded by the Western criminologists originate from the distorted vision of human nature. Based on trial and error method, none of them on the basis of human-orientated knowledge that is still undergoing the critical, experimental and evolutionary process to achieve competence, perfection and liberation from errors, can trace the causes of defiance in human nature with certainty. To solve the problem, we are obliged to conduct an extensive study of following issues. What is human nature, and can it be regarded inherently as criminal? Whether the behavior of the criminal is predetermined, or is he free in his acts or commission and omission? Whether an act of offence committed by a person suffering from any mental abnormality or psychic disorder creates any criminal liability or not? Up to what extent the criminal behaviour of a delinquent is affected by socio-economic order of a society? The answers to these questions would automatically lead us to understand the basic postulates of Islamic theory of criminality. These questions have been separately discussed in various chapters. So, Hazur Sayyidi Shaykh-ul-Islam goes on to provide a detailed understanding of the terminology of fitra in Islamic terminology and what that means vis-a-vis criminality, and the understanding and concept of criminality within Islam. He concludes in the light of the Quranic verse and with reference to certain hadith that the Prophet continued, "No Arab has any superiority over a non-Arab, nor was a white in any way better than a black. The only criterion of superiority and respectability was the element of piety. All created beings," He, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "were the offspring of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, and the very existence of Adam alayhi salam was from dust. Hence, all claims to superiority, discrimination, and greatness, all demands for blood or ransom, and false traits or trends of rule have been trodden under my feet. After studying this comprehensive quotation, no doubt should remain in any mind regarding the equal, unexceptional, and indiscriminatory attitude of Islam towards human beings and their creation. Thus, it is absolutely false and baseless to say that some of the human beings were created with bad natures or were given birth with inherent criminal tendencies. This conclusion would underdetermine the universally accepted idea of unity and equality of mankind and its just and honoured creation. With different inherent natures of human beings, no just, compatible, and honourable system of social life can be evolved. The above-mentioned verses and ahadith have clarified the situation by expressing the Islamic concept of human nature. In view of Quran and Hadith, human nature is absolutely free of all bad potentials and wrong tendencies, and no criminal characteristic is inherent in it. So that encompasses all that I have on the topic of Islam and criminality. This book, as mentioned, has 5 chapters that provide a holistic overview on the study of criminality from an anthropological, legal, scientific, and theoretical developments. So I hope you enjoyed the book review. Jazakallah khair.